been at the top of the United States distance running for almost 10 years now, from just your days running in college at Oklahoma State and Western Kentucky before that. But not a lot of people know some of your history. It's like the focus after you finish second is always on the first place champion. And it's like, okay, and Shadrack Kipchirchir finished second, and that's it. So I want to help share a little bit more of your story. So let's go back to Kenya and when you were born there and growing up with 9 siblings. How was that? I mean, in terms of just being in your household, you're in the middle of the 9. So how many older siblings? How many younger siblings? And was it just always competitive around the house?
So yeah, we are 9, and I'm just right in the middle. We have 9 in front and 9 below me. So yeah, and growing up, we grew up like normal Kenyan family. With a large family like that, not a lot not a lot like here in US. And yeah, we relied a lot in education. Going to school, and that's what my parents emphasize a lot about it. Like go to school, go to college, and start your own life. And yeah, that's what we emphasize a lot. And doing sports in school, I didn't do a lot. I was a soccer player in the entire time of my high school. And yeah, I didn't do a lot of sport. And my elder sibling that came to US here in 20, 2004, 2005, taught us about running. He told us like, running is good. If you wanna come to US, you just have to run. So I just started running right after high school in 2009. So, but growing up was fun, no pressure of running, no going to meets in high school or middle school and everything. So it was just typical normal Kenyan family type. Yeah.
Because that's interesting. I've heard the stories of how Alfine Tuliamuk and also how Bernard Lagat became aware of the United States running scene and how, the opportunity to run for schools is something that you start to chase after a while and you become aware of. What attracted you to? I guess that you had an older brother who went through the process, but why did you want to do it?
Because in Kenya, once you finish high school, pretty much on your own. Like, they use there's no much money to pay you for universities or something. So to pay you in like before joining high school, and then high school is a lot of money for a normal Kenyan family. We are not rich. Like in our family, we are just the middle class in Kenya. So my parents could afford like I through high school. Like they love to give all they had to make sure I graduated high school. And then after high school, to go again to university is really hard. It's a lot. Like they will have to sell like their house or where we live or our land for me to finish university in Kenya. So I was and my brother or other my neighbors. I knew some of my neighbors that it came here in US. Like if you just run, you'll secure a full scholarship free of charge. Like you just have to run and they pay for school for you in the university in US. So I was like, oh, that's pretty much it. So I started running right after high school, and I was glad to get a full scholarship in Western Kentucky. That was winter of 2010. So
When you get the word from Western Kentucky, what did you know about Western Kentucky and where it was on the map? And so, what did you know what you were signing up for?
no, I just want to get out of country. I just want to I didn't know if I was going to Alaska. I didn't know the condition of Kentucky. I didn't know how it was. I just wanted to come to United States for school. And as soon as I got the letter, I didn't care. You are not picky when you're in Kenya. You don't care. So long as you get that I-20, you get go to the embassy, you get a visa, and that's pretty much it. You board that plane and you're coming to America. And that was it. I didn't know how it was, but I was surprised to come and I came right in the middle of the winter, snowing, cold. But yeah, it was what it was. That was back in 2010. So I didn't know anything about US at all, not even Kentucky. Everything in US. I didn't know anything.
So you walk around the streets of Bowling Green, Kentucky. What is sort of like your reaction? Are you like, this is cool, or it's like, this is too cold, get me back home?
It was cold, but an option of going back home is not even there in your head. Like you just have to make it. Like, the conditions are tough, and then even the culture shock, like going to classes with people that are used to the computers, English their first language. You meet these professors, the accent is different. You can't even understand some stuff, and you have to deal with all of those stuff. So I saw like even the coldness was even rank lower than, I have to pass classes to be able to compete. So I was, focused on that a lot, and to catch up. My first semester was kind of terrible, and then after that, I caught up with the system really well.
What were
So
you doing to try and catch up and learn? Because I'm a big baseball fan, and so I like hearing the stories of like when the Yankees sign like a player from the Dominican Republic and he doesn't know any English at all. He's watching, whether it's cartoons or reality TV or just something on Netflix where he's trying to learn English a little bit as he goes along. I'm sure not the language barrier totally, but there's
yeah,
little things here and there that you also had to learn as a college student. You're already there at the highest level, and it could not have been easy.
yeah, it was not easy. I knew English, but you know, some professors had like a deep accent. And then, going to class, typical American will catch up stuff really quick. But for me, I had to stay at the library the entire time. Like I didn't have a life. I all the weekend I will stay there. Doing the exam, I will be the last one giving out that paper. I'll see some guys doing like in 15 minutes they are done. They get out. But for me, I love to stay until like I maximize all my time there. Just make sure that I get it right. And so I knew it, but I was slow. I was just slow because, everything, the system was different. Even typing, on the keyboard, I had not used a computer before, and to find even where the H was tough. You have to but these people are just, these guys, my classmate was typing without seeing even the keyboard. And that was like, they were really ahead of me. But, I had to learn all of those stuff. Stay at the computer, use the tutors. I used them a lot. They were like, yeah, I made better use of them, during my entire time in my freshman year. So that's all I did to catch up with the system of school.
That just puts like so much more into perspective, just like the student athlete balance. When someone has it easy, like you are able to go to study hall 1 hour
Yes.
and you finish and you go back to your dorm and you hang out, but you're telling me that you were there hours and the last person, first one in, last person out. There must have been times where it was frustrating too.
Yeah, it was. This time of practice, we usually practice at 3 o'clock, and I love to wake up early in the morning and stay up late to just write a paper that no all people will write in 2 hours or 1 hour. But I love to spend the whole day researching. It was, but you know, training and doing all of those stuff. I think I was just over reading and to just catch up with the rest of the people. So my training was not good, but I had to balance it, and it was frustrating for some time.
What did you want to study? Because I figured right from the beginning, even coming from Kenya, you had sort of thought about engineering right from the start, right?
Yes, yes. So I did civil engineering in Western Kentucky, and then I changed to construction management in Oklahoma State. So that's what I graduated in.
When you were training at Western Kentucky, I mean, what was that sort of like in terms of just like, yes, maybe in the classroom you have this big learning curve, but then talent speaks for itself in the athletic endeavors, and you were finding success pretty early on. You were an All-American as a freshman. So but at the same time, like you had not been training every day in high school and running all these races. So the sport was still fresh to you.
Yes, it was really fresh. I didn't know, like, I was just following the program, the basic program our coach gave us. Some reason it worked. I was not overdoing it. I was just doing the 3 o'clock practice, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, my first year, I won my conference. I, I was the first freshman in NCAA that year. I was number 27. I think no freshman ahead of me. And yeah, I think I was kind of less talented a little bit to be able to do that with all the other classes, all of those classes I was doing. So I think it was just the talent. I'll say that.
The first couple races, now that you're just, in more organized, structured running, you have a little bit of talent from what you're able to see in practice, but there's sometimes in championship style races later on in the season or even like in cross country where the tactics come into play a little bit. From this, your first couple of races, was it just I'm fast, I'm just gonna go hard from the start and hang on for as long as possible? And then how did you learn about the tactics in running when it comes to I have to wait and save my kick and make a move? You were kind of learning the more practice you got and the more racing you did.
Yeah, if you see, my racing in college was kind of terrible. Like when I was in Western Kentucky, but when I went to Oklahoma State, Dave Smith taught me a lot of stuff, like just chill out, Shadrack, don't overtrain, don't just run. Because Oklahoma State, it was like a cross country kind of a race. We were running right with that team as a team, you know, just wait together, run together, and then kick at the end. That's what I learned a lot about running. And honestly, when I was in Western Canada, I didn't care a lot about running. I just want to do the running to secure my scholarship, just secure my scholarship. Same thing when I went to Oklahoma State. I just want to pass the class. I was into classes a lot. Just I didn't want to. I was like a 3.5 student, so I didn't want to fail classes, and I didn't care much about running. That's why you guys didn't see me a lot in college. You just saw me like at the end when I graduated, when I got second at NCAA. That's where I was done with my classes, and I knew I secured my degree, and I was like, okay, let's go back to running. So, and Dave Smith taught us a lot about patience. Just don't patient at like the first few laps of the race doesn't count. Just go sit out and relax. And race starts like you know 3/4 of the race in. So you have to wait and wait. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot. By the senior year in Oklahoma State, I was kind of, a pro in tactical races.
Yeah.
So
The entire time while you're at school, before you even make the jump to go from Western Kentucky to Oklahoma State, was there a part of you that, it's so far, and you think about how everyone can go home during the holidays. A lot of your classmates are going home to visit their family for Thanksgiving and Christmas and some of these breaks. But for you, home is so far away and you had to stay back. How much of it did you miss Kenya?
man, I missed a lot. I remember I stayed 6.5 straight years here in the United States without seeing my family.
Wow.
From 2010 to right before Olympic trials. They will call me, are you okay? I just, yeah, I'll come home this year. Nope, it doesn't, because it's so expensive to go to Kenya. I was a student, I can't afford the flight to go back to Kenya. And then again, I feel like I was not in that position I wanted to achieve what I came for here to get my degree. And, after college, I love to get a job or something to support myself. I didn't want to go to Kenya empty-handed. And it's pointless, there is WhatsApp, there is Skype. We used to use Skype right then to talk with them and stuff. So there's no point, so long as I'm good, I'll come home. So I stayed 6 straight years, and then one Sunday I showed up home. I didn't tell anyone. I surprised everyone at home. So, and Paul Jelimo was in Kenya, so he took me home, and I surprised my parents like that after 6 years. And yeah, that was great to be back home after a long time
I'm
of
guessing
going.
you made everybody cry just because they
Yeah,
hadn't
they
seen you
did.
in so long.
Yeah. Paul took me, and he told my mom like there's a package Shadrack sent. It's in my trunk, and then when he opens it, yeah, that was me. Yeah,
Oh, that's
and
so awesome.
everybody, yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
When did you get the call from Oklahoma State and the correspondence with Dave Smith that said, "Hey, like, yes, you're in a good position at Western Kentucky and you're doing well there, but you had to realize like Oklahoma State is a powerhouse when it comes to cross country, and that they're looking at you and pretty much extending the invitation for you to transfer. That must have been a great honor."
I didn't know I was that good to be able to go to Oklahoma State. It was like a really, really big school for me. And Dave had a connection with. He knew my brother. He was in Kenya a while ago when I was still young, and my brother was the one that was showing him around in Kenya. And yeah, he talked with my brother, and yeah, when I was in a position to transfer, he connected me to Dave Smith, and yeah, that was pretty much it. And he trusted me. the way I didn't know I was that good, but he trusted me like you will be a good addition to the program, the cross country program. And yeah, it was a shock for me to go meet Chaman Fernandez, Kobilo, Tom Farrell, Kirma, those big guys, from from Western Kentucky that I was a top athlete to number 5 athlete or 4 in Oklahoma State. That's what I needed. I needed a challenge. I was in a comfortable zone in Western Kentucky. I was the top guy and I didn't have any room for improvement. So going to Western Oklahoma State, meeting Chaman Fernandez, Kobilo, and Tom Farrell pushed me to my limit to know better about running and to be a better athlete that can run really well in championship races in NCAA. So
You had already mentioned it. It's sort of how like you flew under the radar, and not too many people were as familiar with you until your senior year, the
yeah.
10K, the 10K final where you finished second to Edward Cheserek, and that kind of put you on the map for everyone else. Was it really just like how focused you were on your athletics and getting the diploma that's what you had so much of your attention, and once that was done, the pressure was off and you could finally run better?
Yeah, that was the main thing because doing those classes was tough for me, and I was like, let me focus on this because education is everything. Running will come and go, but getting that diploma is important. I didn't want to disappoint my parents back home. They knew that I went to school. And we are student athletes, not athlete students. Students come first, so I wanted to take care of the athletic, the academics part. And to be honest, I was still doing good in running, just to be okay. And Oklahoma State was really good program to balance on that with the cross country. So once my education was done, all the heavy load was done in my head, I just like switch my mind. The good thing with me, if I say I need this, I'm gonna go for it. I don't care. Like I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna work hard for it until I get it. So I switched my senior year and I was like, okay, Dave, put me to, because I remember it was ridiculous. I told Dave to put me to first feed in Stanford invitation. Oh, Shadrack, you don't have a time. You can't even enter that. I was like, put me on it. Because I knew I didn't have to do homework. I just want to race. And I didn't train a lot for it. And we had to go back and forth. And he was scared that I'm going to blow up in the race. And yeah, he finally put me in the race. And that's the time I ran 27:36 from 29:08. And everything started unwinding after that. I went to Big 12s. I was second behind Kithuka. Regionals, I was number 11th because I just wanted to qualify. I didn't want to, I was saving for the nationals. And the nationals, I wanted to really, really win. But Chase was good athlete and I got second. So my focus changed immediately from course. I wanted to do really well, to represent Oklahoma State that paid for my school to get a diploma. I wanted to give back to them just to get that NCAA title, but I didn't end up getting it. But, I got second.
You're one of the many people who just got unlucky at going to college at the same time as Kennedy Kathuka, Lowie Lalang, and Edward
Yes.
Cheserek because they just won everything.
Yeah, they were really good. There's nothing could have done when they were around. Kithuka Lau was great. Chess, of course, was good too. So, yeah, I was not lucky enough to win it. Yeah.
When did the idea come into your head about representing the United States internationally? Because then, late 2014, you end up making the decision to uh, enlist in the U.S. Army's WCAP program. And for 2015, that meant that now you had the opportunity to represent the United States at the World Championships that year. But that idea, when did it first pop into your head?
So, back in 2013, my younger brother enlisted in the United States Army, and I remember going to his graduation, the boot camp, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" He changed. He was this kind of a guy that was not serious, that was playboy and everything. But when I saw him marching on that line after boot camp, he was like totally a soldier, like really authoritative. He was like confident with everything. And I was like, I want to be a soldier like him. And my elder brother again is a soldier in Kenya Army. So I was sandwiched by the two brothers that are in service. And I was like, I want to be like them. So without anything, I just decided to enlist. Um, right before, one semester before I finished Oklahoma State. So that was it. I was like, I'm gonna go for it, and I don't care about. I just wanna be part of the team, like the best team in the world. That's United States Army. So I joined it, and then after that, I ran good. I realized there's a program called World Class Athletic Program, and I remember contacting like the sports specialist in the program, and he was like, "Yeah, if you run good and if you have distance or if you are second in 1 to 3 in NCAA, you'll be allowed to join the program." And I contacted them like a while ago before a semester before I graduated Oklahoma State. And I was lucky enough, after NCAA, I got second. And I was shipping to basic training 1 week after NCAA. It was 6 days.
Wow.
I just shipped, and then my first orders came was to go to Germany, but I got another offer again to run for World Class Athletics program. So they had to cancel my orders to go to Germany and come to Colorado Springs for the program. And that's where running for United States started. That was in 2015.
So it seems like it's very important to even note this here because I remember 2015, 2016 when it was like, 5 or 6 members of the WCAP program making the United States team for World Outdoors, the World Outdoor Championships. And you guys were facing criticism from people, both American people and also from Kenyan people, because the Kenyan fans and other Kenyan athletes wanted you to represent them at the big
Yeah.
stage. And then obviously there's part of it too where there's a population of American fans and people within the running community who just felt that you guys were just trying to make the team and take spots away. But now when you share sort of like that side to your story, which a lot of people probably haven't heard, you were into the Army first before you were into even just running for the United States.
Yeah, I committed like way early before I even ran 27:36 time.
Mm-hmm.
I committed way early when I was still an average athlete that I was not even allowed to join the program. Remember, I was not even all American before. My 10K time was 29:08. And to be able to join the program, you have to run 28:15 and above. So I was like, I don't care. I just want to join this team. And my orders was to go to Germany. I wanted to serve. I was ready. I wanted to go to the training, and if duty calls, I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna answer it, and I'm gonna go for it. Well, because I've trained for it, and I'll do anything the United States Army tells me to do. So I didn't care much about running, but this running thing came automatically. Like when I went to Stanford, I ran first time. I got second at NCAA, and the Army reached me out like, you can as well serve and still run for the program. So it came out. I was not joining for that. I was joining to serve. Like if any duty calls, I'm gonna answer it, whatever I am. So
When there was sort of that criticism that you guys are getting, how did you tune it out and just not listen to it or don't let it bother you?
it didn't bother me a lot because people will talk. If you do good, some people will talk. If you do bad, people will talk. But at the end of the day, it's who decided. If you decide for it to affect you, it will affect you. But you have to ghost it out and focus on what you are doing. The Army was there for us, for me, and my family, and I had to do all means to be able to represent United States Army in a good way. So I didn't care about all of those, keyboard warriors that they were saying. So I mean, people can talk. This is America, that you have these rights and everything, you can do anything you want. So, but yeah, it didn't affect me a lot at all, at all.
So take us through when it came to basic training and then just your day to day within the Army. What did work look like, and then how did you fit running in? Because you are training at a high level at the same time.
So basic training. When I joined basic training, there's basic training for like 10 weeks, and advanced training, that's another
Mm-hmm.
10 weeks. So no running at all, zero. From
Wow.
June of 2014. That was after NCAA to the Thanksgiving of that year. The
No
end
running.
of no running, zero, zero, no running. I had like my boots, my rucksack, my M16, just going the jungle, doing all the basic training stuff, like no running, no nothing, just push-ups, sit-ups, and that's kind of a punishment we were getting. And it was intense training with that kind of environment. It was chaotic environment to go through it. And once I graduated, I started training after Thanksgiving of 2014. So just normal training. And the good thing, I had secured my world championship standard when I was in college.
Hmm.
So when it came to 2015 January, I was just training for the trials. And yeah, for those 6 months, I trained and be good enough to be number 4 at the trials, and been through scratch the 10K, and I was able to slide in the my first world team. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think not enough people realize, because Sam Shalenga has talked about the same exact thing of how I remember when we did the race broadcast last year around this time, almost in February in Texas, we ran into Sam Shalenga and we talked to him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I've only been running for 7 days," because he
yeah,
was doing training or something in the jungle, and he was showing us videos of these guns and these cannons that he's working on. And so it is real that you guys sometimes are working off of a shorter runway than
yeah,
some of the other athletes.
yeah. If you see all the army guys, some of them will miss some races because they are doing like crazy trainings out there. So these guys are soldiers. Like they are not even just at home all the time. They are just training for it. You live by orders. They just tell you, oh, you are going to school. Militaries like Leonard Cory just finished school, and Emmanuel Bor recently. They just finished. So these guys are working for it. Like they are in the real army trainings. Like they have to meet all the requirements for the soldiers
Hmm.
before anything else. It's like student athletes too.
Yeah.
Like you don't just go to college and just run. You have to pass classes. Same thing with these soldiers. These guys are just doing, Sam Chalanga is always beside the unit doing army stuff, and with the rest of the guys down there. So they are doing a lot of stuff there.
It's super impressive. And then on top of that, how did you get connected with Scott Simmons? And then slowly but surely, that training group that you guys assembled by the time of, I think it was like 2016, where it was you, Paul Chalimo, Haron Lagat. It was, if you looked at it and some of those PRs on paper, it was probably one of the best training groups in the country.
Yeah, yeah. So when we joined the army, Scott Simmons was already coaching um, Robert Chesre, that's Lagat's brother, and Agastas Mayo. So he was already the program's coach. So after that, they assigned us to train under him. At first, I was with me, Paul Katam, and Paul Chelimo.
We were Dan
We
Brown,
trained
right?
Dan Brown in Nike in Portland, Oregon. So we were training under him there. And then right after Olympics, we moved to Colorado Springs because it's ideal for long distance runners, and there is trails and it's altitude and everything. So we moved down there to train under Scott Simmons.
And how does work kind of change for you guys when you moved from Portland to Colorado Springs? What was your role within the U.S. Army?
I am financial management technician. I do finance.
Okay.
I do finance. Yeah, that's what I do. Like when I go down there at the unit, that's what I do. I deal with finance. Same to my wife. She does finance too. So she does finance in the army. So that's what I do.
Do you want to get back
But
to engineering at some point?
yes, yes. Because they didn't have a lot, like that advanced training I told you in the army, they didn't have a lot of engineering I was telling you, but I have a degree and I'm gonna pursue that once I exhaust my hamstring will not handle running anymore. That's why I wanna focus on running 100%, and then after that I'm gonna switch back to my what I studied in college.